You guys, check this out. Look at that beam. That is insane. This thing is a Candela monster. Probably the farthest throwing flashlight I've ever had. Look at that beam. Looks like the bat signal from a comic. This is 1800 lumens and 270,000 Candela. And this is on the turbo mode. This thing is literally a lightsaber. Alright, this is the Wurkkos TD01C. Now they're saying it's 2200 lumens, but on the stat sheet, it's 1800 lumens. Now they list a TD01 and a TD01C, but I'm just going by what the stat sheet said. Your throw is over 1,000 meters though. There's the emitter between 6,000 and 6,500 Kelvin, and here is that light. So, Wurkkos asked me if I wanted to make a review on this, and I was like, heck yeah, that thing looks sick. I've been sent a couple lights by Wurkkos before, and I liked them, but this one really excites me. I did a video on the TS23, which was about 5,000 lumens, which was insanely bright, and more lumens than this one, which on the stat sheet does say 1800, but this light is a bit different. It is a Candela monster, and here's the stat sheet. Okay, and here is the chart of all of the outputs. We're looking at the TD01C. Moon mode 1 lumen, and that's 70-hour runtime. 30 lumens for eco, 150 for low, 350 for medium, 800 for high, and the turbo at 1800. Strobe is also at 1800 lumens. SOS running at 350 lumens, 1800 lumens for the beacon. Yeah, runtime, you're getting 70 on the moon mode, 50 on eco, 15 on low, 6.5 on medium, 3 hours on high, and 2 hours on turbo. And the intensity, that moon mode is 207 Candela, even just for one little lumen. And turbo, you're looking at 270,000 Candela. That is a lot. 71,000 on high is still a lot, but wow, that turbo 270,000 Candela, which is going to allow a distance of a 1,000 meter beam. That's what they're saying. 1 meter impact resistant, and waterproof is IPX rated. And there are some specifications if you want to look more into that. And on the operation instructions, this helped me explain it all to you guys. I thought this line was funny though. The TD01 flashlight, controlled by one tactical tail switch together with one side switch. Easy to operate. So what you're looking at here is the Streamlight HL5X, or ProTac HL5X. And this thing has 3,500 lumens with 51,000 Candela. So it's very bright. In fact, it's probably the brightest flashlight I currently have in the collection. I really do like this light a lot, and it's super bright. Like I said, 51,000 Candela. But next to it is, it's only 1,800 lumens, but 270,000 Candela. We could see, comparing the two. Here's the Streamlight HL5X. Much more of a spill and much less of a hotspot. It's very good at lighting up a large area, and also goes pretty far in the back into the woods. You can see a lot of detail back there, right? You can see a lot of detail. Moving to the Wurkkos, this is much less overall light. You can tell 1,800 versus 3,500. In terms of the lumens, it's definitely not lighting up as much of an area, but you could see the difference in the hotspot, how intense that hotspot is. There's a little bit of spill, and it comes across less on camera. I can definitely see around it, but it's definitely not the light output that you're getting from the Streamlight. Back into the woods, though, you can really see some good detail. It's definitely a very focused beam. Looking at that dead stump back there, where there's like two trees next to each other, you can see the difference. We have the Streamlight HL5X lighting up a good area, but to really get it bright, you can just see how much more intense the hotspot is of this Wurkkos. Even though it's less lumens, it's focused on a tighter area. So on the body light, you can see that the front is really, really big and bulbous, and that's to really help throw that beam out there. But it probably wouldn't fit that well in a pocket. because of the large head. There's some nice texturing on here, knurling on the back, and that tail cap is protected by these little ears, which you can also fit a lanyard, which they do provide. It is USB-C rechargeable, which you lift this little rubber flap up, just plug it in right there. And it is, they do say it's IPX8 rated, but I don't suppose that the port itself is, so if that rubber does come undone, then it probably isn't going to be that waterproof, but as long as that stays there, it should be resistant to water. Inside the light, if we take off the back, you can see a Wurkkos branded 21700 battery, lithium ion, 3.5 volt, 5000 milliamp hours, 18 watt hours. One thing I really like about this is the tail cap. It does allow momentary. When you turn it on, you'll see that this light is green. Well, that lets you know what charge you're at. So green is 50 to 100%, orange is under that, and red is when you really do need to recharge it. When it charges as well, when you have it plugged in, it'll be red, and then green when it is fully charged. Usually I'm not a fan of a bunch of modes and buttons on a flashlight, but this one's set up in a way that makes it not too hard to understand. So let's get into it. First, there's actually 2 different modes that you can operate in, and we'll just get into it and it'll make sense. So this is kind of the normal mode. So you turn on the light by pressing the tail cap. You can cycle through the modes, the output settings, using this front button, right? If you just turn on and off the tail cap, it'll be the same mode, right? And it remembers that mode, which is awesome. So from here we have eco, low, medium, and high. Press it again, we go back down to eco. So if I want to keep it on high, I can just do that, and every time I go back to this, it's going to be on high. Now, if we want to access the turbo mode, all we have to do is double click the tail cap, and now we get the turbo. Also in this mode, if you triple click the front button when the light's on, you get a strobe. And just click it again, and that'll turn it back to the normal. When you're in strobe, you can double click this button and it'll go between strobe to the SOS to a beacon. Back to strobe, and then you can also turn it off via the tail cap like that. And moonlight mode is kind of a little hidden mode. What you have to do is hold down the front button and press the tail cap. And that's your moonlight mode, which is 1 lumen. 1 lumen doesn't sound like a lot, and it's not, especially like right now in this light setting. It doesn't look like that much. But testing it out in complete darkness, and it's definitely enough to see where you're going close up, and it's enough to read stuff. What's surprising is the light is designed to throw far, and that's still the case even on moonlight mode. I was surprised to see how far it pushes out, just 1 lumen. And now getting into the second mode, when the light is on, you just have to hold down the front button for 3 seconds, and you'll see the light switch to the turbo mode. This is called the tactical mode, and it's the second overall mode that you can have the light in by default. The difference with this tactical mode is now you have only 2 light outputs. You have turbo and you have medium. If I click it again, you're going to see it just goes between medium and turbo. So this is a much more simple mode if all you want is just a couple outputs. You want one bright output like the turbo to get all the light, or you can have it in medium just for other stuff. If you double click the back on the tactical mode, you get a strobe. Same thing, if you double click the front button, you can cycle between beacon, strobe, SOS. I actually think I prefer the tactical mode because you either get all the lumens at once, which is kind of what you would want this light for, is you want all those lumens, you want all that candela, and you can use the medium if you want that extended runtime, and you still get a lot of candela with the medium. But the thing about this one is when you turn it on, it's always going to default to turbo. So you can see it's on turbo right now. If I switch it to medium, if I turn the light off, let's give it, a few seconds. Turn the light back on, you can see it brings you to turbo again. So that tactical is always going to be on turbo setting. And if you want, you can step it down to the medium. And to switch it back, all you have to do is hold that front button for 3 seconds, and you'll see it changes back to eco mode. So it depends on how you want to use this light, but they offer the 2 modes to choose from, which is pretty much the standard, where you can cycle through all the modes, or tactical when you just get medium, high, and strobe is much easier to access. So yeah, guys, that is the Wurkkos TD01C. Thanks to Wurkkos again for sending this out. I really do like this light, and honestly, I'll probably end up throwing it in my truck or something. I feel like it's a really cool light to keep in a center console because, well, if you got to look at something real far away, this is a really good light to do it. You can plug it in, you can recharge it in your vehicle as well. Really cool light, and I'm happy to check it out. A Candela beast for sure. So I'll link this light in the description if you want to check it out. Otherwise, thanks for stopping by. Hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you later.